What's up, guys? Let's take a look here at Archeworld's white paper. So for those that are not familiar, a white paper is kind of like a roadmap, a guidebook explaining what the company is all about. And it's on the official archeworld.com website. You can scroll down and then you can see the Archeworld section. Here's its guide. Click on the Get Book white paper, and this is something that you definitely need to look at. Check it out, read it, do your own research on this. We're going to go through the first couple sections of it. Specifically the our vision, the introduction, the vision of Archeworld. So let's just go through it right now. I'm just going to read through it, give you a little bit of commentary along the way. But here we go. Archeworld is an MMORPG incorporating blockchain technologies and based on globally acclaimed Archeage. Archeage is a seamless open-world sandbox MMORPG that first launched in Korea in 2013 and now serviced in North America, Europe, Japan, Russia, Korea, China, Taiwan, and Southeast Asia. Archeworld intends to fully utilize Archeage's commended features and renovate the fundamental problems of virtual asset ownership with blockchain technologies, thus offering the user a new experience. We anticipate that Archeworld enable users to directly participate in gameplay and actual economic activities as well. It's made by XL Games and Jake Sung. Was founded in 2003 by Jake Song, who pioneered the graphic MMORPG genre with the development of Kingdom of the Winds, Nexus TK in North America, and Lineage. XL Games has been on a journey of creation of MMORPGs, along with above-mentioned Archeage being the flagship title. XL Game has been developed various games such as Civilization Online, Archeage Begins, Moonlight Sculptor. Currently, XL Games is in the development of Archeage 2, which is going to be using Unreal Engine 5, so it's going to look amazing, and then an undisclosed mobile title, which inherited the lore of the original Archeage. So that's some cool information right there. Archeage 2 coming out. They are still developing. A lot of fear around Archeworld was that Archeage 2 got scrapped for this, but no, Archeage 2 is actively in development. It's right here in their white paper. Like, we are working on Archeage 2, and they're also working on a undisclosed mobile Archeage game that ties in somehow. So whether it ties into just Archeage or Archeworld, because Archeworld also has a very similar lore to Archeage. It's using the foundation of Archeage and the lore. And if you played Archeage, this is kind of like a continuation, I think, of the story, or a different branch of the story for that. So like, you would probably just want to check out Archeworld just for the storyline quest and see what's up. Like, you could totally do that. You can play it 100% free to play. Archeworld, 100% free to play game. If you just want to know the storyline, simply just do the green quests, going through, and they're all like cinematic now, so you can actually watch the storyline quest unfold in some nice artwork. All right, so MMORPG and the problem of ownership. Massively multiplayer online roleplay games. MMORPGs have been introduced to the gaming world with Kingdom of the Winds, Lineage, and Ultima Online, and is now one of the most mass appealing online game genres. Many users have begun to earn and trade valuable items through mutual competition and or cooperation in the gaming world. In the process, the concept of user, society, and economy, and furthermore, the concept of politics have emerged in the games. Consequently, MMORPGs has naturally positioned itself as the platform that provides a user experience closest to the virtual reality and proposes a prototypical image of a metaverse that is currently cited. Users engage in friendships and even marriages and exchange and trade acquired game assets, portraying a massive market economy within the gaming world. In addition, interoperability, one of the key elements of the metaverse, and furthermore, the mutual compatibility of virtual economies in real-life economies have already existed in MMORPGs. Users have been trading their items and even their player characters in different price points in the process. The exchange between game assets and real-life currencies has been tactically yet generally existed. The notion of real estate trade, recently offered in various services such as the Sandbox and Decentraland, has already existed in some games, especially Archeage, and with limited supply of land, there are substantially value. However, there has been an interpretal vagueness in regard to who actually owns such assets, which leads to disputes between the game service providers and users, as well as between the users. We would like to tackle this issue so we can bring about a change in the trend. Original form of play to earn. Elements of recently emerged play to earn games have existed from the beginning. One of the key attributes of MMORPG is the user's desire to progress faster than others and possess a stronger character. The user can showcase his or her character to others, hold powers, and furthermore gain economic benefit. To do so requires an abundant amount of time and effort. Thus, there has always been demand to acquire various materials and items within real-life money. To meet this demand, ever since the beginning of MMORPG genre, there has been so-called gold farmers, as well as users who automatically run their characters with bot programs. Trades between such users naturally emerged. However, these trades generally took place in item trading sites or black markets. This leads to the problem of ownership of assets. The problem of ownership of virtual assets. Ever since the birth of MMORPGs to date, there has been conflicts between users and game companies regarding ownership of in-game assets such as characters and items or in-game currencies. MMORPG service providers did not accept the ownership by the users through the EULA, the End User License Agreement. So the thing that you sign in the beginning of the game, it always said that the game companies owns your stuff and that you don't actually own your character or your gear. Made sure that ownership of items and characters are retained by the companies, which users merely granted the license to use each asset. But users have instinctively considered the in-game assets as their own property. This is because the value of in-game assets is generated and increased by the effort put in by the users who play with the assets. Game companies had convened trades between the users to the extent that the trades do not intrude the interest of the companies, and the users have been trading virtual assets by employing expedience, i.e. trading the game asset accounts as wholes. Since trades between users take place in black markets, the credibility of trades is not high, and disputes or conflicts among users arise from time to time. As a result, an eccentric situation occurs where users wish to trade safely, yet game companies disallow such secure trades and at the same time convene at the black markets. In the era of Web 3.0, the advance of blockchain technology makes it possible for each user to own virtual assets such as in-game items. NFT is a primary example. Now users are able to trade safely and get compensated for all the time and effort they poured into the game. So they're saying that the NFTs is the key component that allows this to work. I don't know if I agree if the NFT is the key component that allows it to work. I think the blockchain technology, which allows you to track all the transactions and make sure there's very little fraud, if any fraud, is probably the more key component. But NFT is just a simpler way to say this that maybe people understand. So let's go. Final thing here, the vision of Archeworld. Legitimacy of return of ownership of virtual assets to the users. With the advent of the internet, people are spending a lot of their daily time online. This trend will be accelerated even more with the development of technologies. Humans will spend more time in the metaverse, a virtual world that surpasses the limits of the real world. In the near future, in the metaverse, virtual assets such as avatars, items, and land will be in existence. In order for a metaverse to function as a metaverse, the ownership of various virtual items in the metaverse shall belong to the user, not the service provider. This will allow the users to move between different metaverses using the virtual assets, and in the process make it possible to realize a true metaverse that transcends the limitations of real life. With the view of that MMORPG is an element form of metaverse, we believe that it is a rational and righteous to return the ownership of assets to the users. Further, we believe that blockchain-based NFT is currently the appropriate technology with which we can return such ownership to the users. We believe that the return of ownership to the users will contribute to the development of the MMORPG genre and related industry. Give back to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to users what is users. With the above perception in mind, we intend to create a structure where users retain ownership of major in-game assets, items, and even player characters, etc. Users will be able to directly own assets that they acquire, produce, manufacture, and/or enchant with their own effort. And this will be possible through blockchain technology-based NFT. Assets in the form of minted NFTs can be possessed, stored by the users, and freely tradable between users. Blockchain technology is instrumental in letting various users of different nationalities to trade credibly and to do so in an in-game token to be converted later in this white paper is necessary. To the respects the user's efforts, we will not sell what can be produced by the users. That's a big statement right there. To respect the user's efforts, we will not sell what can be produced by the users. So they're saying there will not be a cash shop selling items that the users are making. However, since asset limited in supply such as land or materials has characteristics of public goods, we will sell such assets in the initial stages of the service and manage them in accordance with the fair standards set out by us. However, if we recognize users' possession of all in-game assets, there may be a liability issue in accordance with current game regulations. There may also be confusion and chaos among the users. Thus, in the beginning of the game service, we'll start off by allowing only certain assets to be minted into NFTs and recognized by users. Ownership of such assets. If and when a democratic decision-making structure is in its place, decisions regarding the expansion of assets to be minted could be made by the users. Also, there has been claims of marketing slogans stating that if a user retains permanent ownership of an asset, it can also be used in other games as well. This is something we are not in a position to guarantee at this moment, but reminded, however, that it is feasible for a third party who wishes to attract our user base to develop a game where assets of our game could be utilized, or this idea could be improvised for development of a new version, subject to decision by a DAO. That is huge right there, that they're saying that they are open to giving, their assets to other people that could code off of and make games and use their assets in their games. That is a huge, huge, huge statement that they are making here, that they are okay with essentially giving up, their IP-ness, their ownership of this and allowing it to be free out there. MMORPGs where real economic activities are possible. Multitasking video media such as YouTube or TikTok open up the world where ordinary people can engage in what they like and at the same time make income. We think this is quite possible with games as well, and we believe it should be. In addition to the above-mentioned NFT assets, we are considering a structure where basic play-to-earn is possible in order to attract participation of various users. Although we do not think that play-to-earn should be the main focus of playing the game, it will allow a structure where users play the game they like and make a certain amount of income as well, thus creating a world of metaverse true to its meaning. Furthermore, we would like to propose a structure where users are able to directly involve themselves in the production of the game and earn money. Archeage already has a game system where various UCC, user-created content, such as drawing, video, music scores, and play of musical instrument is possible. Although not directly related to Archeworld, multimedia possessed in the form of NFT can be realized in the game, and we hope that this will further develop the blockchain technology as well. At some point in the future, users will be able to make quests and instances dungeons, modify the game design documents, and form a creator economy where various mods are possible. That right there, let's go over this. We hope that with further development of the blockchain technology as well as NFT, at some point in the future, users will be able to make quests and instant dungeons, modify game design, and form a creative economy where various mods are possible. Just mind blown. They are saying that they want the game to be moddable, that they want the users to make quests, that they want the users to make dungeons. This is so mind-blowing that a company is willing to go this direction and essentially give up their ownership. They are giving up their ownership in this game and going to let it be player-run in the future, at some point in the future. And then if you read further in this white paper, it does say that they have a plan for about 3 years. And then after the 3 years, then it's going to kind of be set free. So We'll see how this shakes out, but let's keep going here. Beyond ownership of assets, game operations by the users, we intend to make it a rule to open everything transparently, reflect the intent of the user community sufficiently, and in the long term possibly hand over the direction and ownership of game updates and game operation. Archeage already has a system such as voting, where users are able to participate in game operations in various ways. We will build on this and provide a setting where users are able to make suggestions, choices, and decisions. Ultimately, it would be the most ideal if the DAO, consisting of governance token holders, are able to make general decisions regarding the game and even change the development studio or publisher of the game if they are not content with them. They just said right there that they want you, the players, the people that hold the Blue Salt token, to be able to fire XL Games and to get rid of them. That's what they just said. They said that if enough of the players that hold the token want XL Games gone, that's what's going to happen. Like, this is mind-blowing stuff, guys. Like, this is insane. So let's keep going here. On the condition that copyright issues as well as technical difficulties are resolved, we may be able to open game source codes or game assets. This will make various mods possible, or even a reproduction of the game may appear. But with the belief the community is not forkable. It will be our keynote to strictly abide by the decisions of the users' community. We will strive to provide a platform where free gameplay and free economic activities by the users are possible, and eventually develop an environment where all the decisions are made by the users. And so that is the end of their vision. That is what they are making here. And as hard as it is to believe, like, they're saying that this is what they're going to do. Like, they're saying they're giving up their ownership. They're saying you can fire us if you want to, if you have enough power, enough people agree with you that we're doing a shitty job, you fire us. They're going to open up the source code. They say that, yes, there could be reproduction of the game. Someone's going to take it and they're going to make their own private server. That they're totally okay with this. But they said that, we think that if that happens, the community is not going to leave the main game, because that's what they've been for the last, couple of years. But hey, if source code's open, someone makes a reproduction and it's better, go there. They want the users to have a good experience. So say what you like about NFTs, Archeage, Archeworld, all this. If you made it through this video and you are not as excited as I am, I don't know what to tell you. This feels and seems too good to be true. And I just hope that 50% of this comes to life in 3 years. So you keep reading further in this. If you want more information, look at it yourself, research it, do your own information on this. But even if 50% of this stuff comes to life, if we get half of these things that they're trying to do and promising to do and working towards, I will be blown away. This will be revolutionary in the gaming industry if this comes together and this happens. Mind blown. After reading this is why, even though I think XL Games is a shitty company, they're a horrible developer, I do not like them. They've ruined Archeage for 10 years, couldn't figure out how to make an MMO fun. But after reading this paper, they understand that, give it to the players, let the players be in control. Players want mods. Being able to make your own quests and dungeons, that would be freaking amazing. And the player ownership, yes, we should own our items. We farmed this gold. We should own this gold. All this stuff makes 100% sense. And it's mind-blowing. And so the thing is, before, game companies did not want to give up their IP. They did not want to give up their game. They did not want to give up the data. They didn't want to give up the service rights, because they own that. That's the stuff that they owned, and they were making money off of it. They didn't want to share it with anyone because, that's how they make money. We have sole ownership of this stuff. Well, with blockchain and the NFT technology here, what they're doing is they're like, cool, we'll still own it in the beginning because we have a lot of the tokens. We're starting out. We created all the tokens. We have, 100% of ownership, and then we're going to release it slowly but surely. It goes on further, telling you the tokenomics in Archeworld. But over time, we'll have less and less control of the game. And over time, approximately 3 years, some users could actually own more majority control of this game and do whatever the heck they want with it, is what they're saying. And we're okay with this. And the reason they're okay with this is because how it's set up is every transaction in the game, they're going to get a cut of the money. So they're not charging a subscription fee. They're not charging a box cost. They're not charging anything. The game is completely 100% free to play. You can play the game 100% free to play. Archeworld is a 100% free to play game. There's sort of paywalls that you hit, but you can still earn stuff in game. You can still earn the cryptocurrency that you need in game. It's just a lot harder, but you can farm it. You can earn it. You can get it off other people. And so then anytime that you buy something on the auction house, you have to use the cryptocurrency. And then XL Games is like, well, we're going to take just a little bit. We're going to take 10%, which in fact, that's actually not a little bit, but it feels like a little bit to a lot of people. If you have $10 and you're like, oh, okay, I'll just take one, that doesn't feel that bad. But over the long term, over the life of the game, if the game made, $1 billion in sales, 10% would be $100 million. And now every transaction is taxed. If you go back and look at Archeage and look into the transactions and the sales histories on the auction house, and you see in the very beginning of Archeage that probably like 50,000 logs got sold. So if 50,000 logs got sold and they all got sold for, we'll just say like $100,000, that means XL Games would be making $10,000 just off of those log sales. That's a pretty good amount of money for one day, but that's just log sales. What about the stone sales? What about the copper sales? What about the iron sales? What about the potion sales? And then you start to realize, wow, they're going to make a lot of money on this. So yeah, so they want the players to be happy. They want the players to be interacting because they'll make more money this way, I think, than they would if they just did a subscription, if they just did a box cost. This way is a dream scenario for not only them, but for the player as well. Because sure, you can say it's pay to win, but every game was kind of pay to win already, wasn't it? You buy something from a game company, you get a power boost, the game company gets something, you get something, all the other players get shit. They get weaker. You buy a power boost from the game company and you're stronger, and all the other people in the game, they're weaker. Well, in this game, you can't buy a power boost from the game company. In order to buy the power boost, you got to go buy it off the auction house. That means someone else has to be selling it. So that means someone created it in game, or someone found it in game, someone earned it in game. So now when you buy it, you're buying it from my friend Bob over here. Bob gets 90%, and then XL Games gets 10%. So Bob's now happy, XL Games is happy, and the player that bought it is happy. So this now becomes a big transfer of money between player to player rather than player to company. The company still gets some, and that's how they're making their money, and that's how they're doing this without anything else really for sale. But yeah, player to player trading, all the money is going to be transferred between each other, not the game company. Game company gets little. But if people spend tens of thousands of dollars in Archeworld, most of that money is going to go to another player, multiple players, different players. One player cannot monopolize everything. It's pretty much impossible. The game is not designed that way. Someone can try, just like anything, someone can try to monopolize anything. Most likely they're going to lose a ton of money, a lot of time, a lot of wasted effort, but they can try. There's also the fact, hey, if someone monopolizes everything, okay, I don't want to play this game. It's not fun. So there's a lot of risks involved in trying to manipulate and own everything. They did a good job, I think, with the land NFT sales. So land NFTs, they got sold on OpenSea, and they only sold 50% of the land, and they kept 50% for themselves so they could also rent it out. But at that initial sale for the Asia server, not that many bought them. There was about 1,500 that bought land. So there's 7,000 total. That means about 25% of the population is player owned and 75% is game company owned, which is good. game company can rent it out to people. In the future, in other servers in Europe and America, if this game does really well, the land will be probably sold to all the players, 50% at least. They don't want to give up complete ownership, like I said earlier. They're starting out slow. Some people cite that, hey, the game's bare bones. There's hardly anything in it compared to Archeage. Well, that's true, but they're starting things out very, very slow. And this is also giving them more content for the next 3 years. So yeah, if you want a pure MMORPG that has a bajillion things to do, go play Archeage. It's free. There's some free servers out there. Archeage Unchained has, I believe, a box cost, maybe a slight subscription now. But yeah, if you want to try out this, if you're intrigued like I am, if you think this might be the future of MMORPGs, if you want to actually own the gold, the sword that you found, that you forged with your hard blood, sweat, and tears, killing all those dragons, give this a shot. What do you got to lose? It's a free game to try. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I will talk to you guys later. Do your own research, though. Figure out if this is for you or if it's something you might be interested in. Thanks for watching.